So, hello, guys. It's been a while since I did this podcast thing, but I did say I was going to start doing it again. This one's about a guy who I caught for being an online predator. He was chatting to numerous children. His name was Thomas Keeley. Now, Thomas Keeley, there's a lot of background to him and stuff he was up to. But we're just going to get on with it and just tell you how it all went. So, this is Alan. Do you want to introduce yourself first, Alan?
I'm Alan Henderson.
What is Thomas Keeley to you?
An ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, so Thomas Keeley was an ex of his. He was quite disgusting. Alan made me aware of him in, I think it was March 2022 or something like that, and then we started investigating him on the 6th of April. So first we made an account pretending to be a young boy. I forgot the name of the first account because it was just a short account where we just like chatted to him for a bit, and he blocked us because at the time we had no photos to prove the child was real. So it went on for a few days. I would always, either finish work or go to work, and we would talk about Thomas Keeley and stuff. And I would sit there chatting to him, being a child decoy. And like I said, he blocked that first child. So then we made another account where we actually had pictures for, and Ewan. We used his pictures. A friend of us made him like a younger child, and we made him into a 14-year-old boy at the time. It was Christ, it was disgusting. But we used pictures. We called him Lucas Matthew Brown. He was a young 14-year-old boy who just a big fan of his wrestling and his darts, I guess. But so we chatted to him for a bit. Thomas Keeley got a little bit dirty with him. He would say like go and dance naked in the garden. Yeah. He would then start sending images, and he would try and blackmail the child into doing it. He actually said to us, "Can you do a moaning sound? And I will send you a picture." And I was like, "What sort of moaning sound?" And we did it, and he sent us pictures of him doing, inappropriate acts to this child. It was disgusting. But yeah, it was. It kind of started because Alan had concerns because he told Alan, "Don't go on my laptop. You don't want to see what's on there." Is that what he said?
He basically said he had things on there that he regretted.
He regretted. So it kind of went on for a bit. He then got arrested in the September of that year. Yeah. But 2 days after, I think it was September 15th, he got arrested, which was a Thursday, 2022. And then on the 17th, he still agreed. He remembered to meet the child. So we went to Shrewsbury, me and a friend of mine, who was also on the channel. We went up there. And we didn't manage to get him in person, but the pub we went to, which was called the Talbot Hotel, they said that he had turned up and he was having a drink of his pint as if he was waiting for somebody. He saw two people walk in, which I assume was either me and my friend or some other two people, and he went out the back way and went back home. And we couldn't confirm he went home because we saw him in his home after we went back to his house because we knew where he lived. We can't give away his actual address here. But it was disgusting. So that happened, and then we started chatting to the child again. We made out that the uncle had found the messages and reported it, so he believed it was genuine because the police at the time wouldn't give away the details of who we were because usually the police can't release that until it actually goes to the prosecution stage. Yeah. So he was on bail at the time, but while being on bail, he then started talking to the same child again on WhatsApp. He was again being inappropriate, sending more inappropriate messages saying that he was going to meet this child and do inappropriate things. And then it even got to the point where he was trying to get this child to murder his uncle and make it look like an accident. Want to explain, Alan?
Yeah, and make out that I did it.
Yeah. So he was, at first he said, put a knife down and put something down so that your uncle falls into the knife. And, make it look like he fell over and went into a knife, which would be ridiculous. How would that even work? And then he said, poison him and put the pills in Alan's bag, which would make it look like he murdered him, and then the police would arrest Alan. So, by making out this child was the nephew of the guy Alan is friends with, he believed it even more, which was disgraceful, but he believed it, he fell for it, and I'm just shocked, really, that it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the most sickest people I've ever had to have messages off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is conspiracy to commit murder. That's right. How are you doing, Thomas? It's I think it's solicitation for murder. I think it's the actual crime for it, isn't it? So you tried to commit a murder and have somebody else to do it to it. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. But when he was attempting to do all this, it was, glad in a way that he was messaging me, because if it was a real child, I think he would have damaged their mentality, and I mean, that's how loads of children commit suicide, because stuff like this happened to them and they can't get out of it.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. It really is. I mean, it's at the time, over a year investigating him, it was really hard. But we did it really well, because we gave him certain scenarios of things that were happening, and he believed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is a ghost channel, Mike. It is a ghost channel. We're just doing this because it's just a big case to me. It's something I did started 2 years ago, and it got in the paper last year as well. And it's just really big. I mean, it's not something you just forget about, when you see messages like this. But it is a paranormal channel. You are right. So it's just a one-off occasion we're doing this.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. We'll get out filming again soon, I did say. But yeah, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Another thing that he also did is he asked his child to go to his house while his parents were out.
Yeah.
So he said, look, he's free. The parents would be out. Come over mine, and do disgusting things. And fairness, the police, they were very slow to act, but once they acted, we had a police officer. I'm gonna name him. He's I think he goes by DC, which I think means Detective Constable Marcus Bassett of West Mercia Police, which covers the Shrewsbury area. And he actually worked 25.5-hour shift to get him arrested, because he realised that the stuff he was prepared to do, he had to be stopped there and then. He worked from 7 a.m. until 8:30 the next morning. And I think that's just mad. I'm really glad as well. It's it's not something that I did regularly. It's just I had to get it done, because it felt like if I didn't report it or investigate him, I was then responsible as much as him for letting him get away with it. So I had no choice with it. It's just bad. Also, guys, go and subscribe to Paramike. Any paranormal channel deserves the same amount of support. Just go and subscribe to him. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. But we were going to do a documentary on it. That kind of failed. We didn't do a documentary in the end. We had ideas. We tried to set one up, but it wouldn't have been good to do a documentary, because we wouldn't have been able to cover everything. It was just so much to go through. He in that time chatted to 2 children, both of it were me, who were doing the messages, and we caught him on 3 separate occasions, twice with the same child and once with the first one. It was horrible. But it got to the point where I was actually speaking to the police more than I was speaking to my own friends, and I think that's when I was like, that's bad.
Yeah.
But it happens, and there's sick people like this out there. But we can name him, because obviously he did get prosecuted. He got prosecuted on May 19th last year. So he's on the sex offenders register for the next 10 years. So I'm not ashamed by naming him. His name is Thomas Kearley. He's from Shrewsbury area. That's all I'm going to say. But when we went up there, we had suspicions he's done this before, because there was a lady outside the Talbot Hotel, and we said to her why we were up there, because she thought we were causing a scene, and we told her what was going on. And she went, oh my God, not him again. I thought, right, so he's done this before then. That's my assumption. And the man there was with her was getting quite aggressive. And then we told Thomas's neighbour about it, and Thomas's neighbour, without us even mentioning what he had done, she went, no, I don't want to know. I got kids. But why would she mention she got kids? Clearly, there's a suspicion that he's done this before. But we got him in prison for a month. He was in custody for a month while it was waiting to go through the court. Then he got out, but his life is ruined. I mean, it was 10 years then, but it's 9 years now that he's going to be on the sex offenders registers for. He won't come off that until 2033. And there is no, what's it called? Early release, is it? Something like that. You can't get off it early. So he's on that register for the next 9 years regardless, which is good, because he's having constant checkups from the police. But then what we were told by the police was even more concerning. They sent us a letter, which I've actually got in my drawer. I still kept it. and if you guys want to see it, I can send you a picture on social media. It actually states in there that they found other pictures on his devices that he created of children.
Yeah.
So he was doing this all the time. It wasn't just 1, 2 children. He was doing it to loads of children. He was creating pictures of them. And how could he get away with that? For me, I had to do something, and I'm just glad that Alan brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
But it's not good though when there's people like this out there that people don't know. You can't trust anyone when it comes to this.
No.
He should be. It's one thing I agree with. Once you do something like this, you should be on there for life. But unfortunately, the law doesn't work that way. They kind of like go a little bit soft on them, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not but Alan, how do you feel knowing that he's was successfully caught?
Yeah, I feel glad he was successfully caught. I was frustrated that he wasn't done for the chat and the threats to kill and that, which he should have been done, which he should have been imprisoned by for now.
He should be.
Yeah.
They didn't consider the solicitation for murder. They said that the person he actually was talking about murdering should have reported it themselves.
Yeah.
You still don't tell a child they got to murder somebody. It's just not right.
No.
But he lets the school photos look like. I bet he does.
Yeah.
It is disgusting, Adam. It is disgusting. I know. It's just strange, And I think when he was actually messaging me, it got to the point where because we would send the screenshots over to my friend who would put the screenshots into like a PDF sort of form, so we could send the police the new screenshots every day. And the one day we were chatting that much, I think we had over 150 screenshots in one day.
Yeah.
Because that shows how much even I was chatting to him. I was just sending messages, trying to get more information. But to dedicate that much time, in total, we had over 2,000 screenshots.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And we got all the screenshots saved. I can send you all a link if you want to view it. But it's just horrible that a guy would do this. And he couldn't deny it was him, because in the one photo where he actually did the inappropriate acts, you could see a bit of his face in it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And his necklace. And he couldn't argue out of that. He was on it. The good thing is he did plead guilty, so he didn't, lie to the court. He didn't say it wasn't him. He did admit it, which I think was very good. I'm glad he admitted it.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't, it would have made it harder for himself. But, it's just one of those stories, really, that people like him are out there, and people got to be careful of it.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But we did a lot of scenarios. So we even sent a photo of Alan here with a sponge over his face and made out that the uncle had hit him. And the story was that we made up is that the child was staying with the uncle who had a boyfriend called Graham. They were all gay in this family. The uncle was with the boyfriend called Graham. Alan was staying over the uncle's place with their friends, and Alan had his boyfriend called David. And then they would often go to the bar in the nights, and then a guy called Jerry was in the bar. He wanted to also kill Robert, apparently. So we actually made up an account called Jerry, and we had him messaging Thomas, and Thomas was like, you got to go and kill this guy. And then he actually threatened the uncle himself. And he said, look, if they can't do it, I'll come and do it myself. And said angry. So he was prepared to do some damage.
Yeah.
He really was. It's just not good. And during all this, there was a lady who tried everything possible. I'm not going to name her, but she tried everything possible to try and get me to, screw the case up. She tried giving me false information. She even told me a popular predator hunter called Shane Brannigan knew about all this and he didn't believe it. And I was like, well, why would Shane Brannigan waste his time talking to her?
Yeah.
A successful guy like him isn't going to be talking to her.
No.
But it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. I think she lied, Adam.
Yeah, so do I.
That's why we call her the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, Wicked Witch of the West, yep.
They are the worst people in society. There's just loads of them out there. Loads of them. But, I'm glad we caught him. I'm glad we caught him.
Yeah.
He had to be stopped. After it, he then got engaged to another guy called Jamie, who was apparently accepted of what Thomas had done and sticking up for Thomas. I was like, what? And then we actually caught him online again afterwards when he was clearly told not to make a new account. And he was on social media once again. We found him on the PlayStation. He was on the PlayStation app and everything.
John, his fiance is called.
John. My mistake. John, not Jamie. John. See? John, not Jamie.
I don't know if I mention his surname, but yeah.
Where did I get Jamie from?
That's my ex as well.
See, loads of them. Yes, I'm just glad we caught him, because if we didn't, like I said, this was a real child. They would have been traumatized for life.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's one of the best things I've ever done. I mean, it was hard to do, but I'm glad I did it, because we stopped somebody who was prepared to go through all these actions to get what they wanted with a child.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm glad that I did it. It's one of my biggest accomplishments, and people who know me know I'm proud of it. I don't talk about it often because the messages we received, but I am proud of it. I'm glad we stopped him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely horrible.
I'm glad I helped stop a sicko like this,
Well, he had to be stopped. I mean, if he wasn't stopped, Alan, this could have been a real child.
Yeah, no.
And how would they have felt?
Yeah, no, it felt awful. He did it to a real child.
I mean, you can't ask a child to go over his house but his parents aren't there, because it's just not right. I mean, imagine that child was found, the parents would have been in trouble. And for the information, he is still living with his parents. They obviously didn't kick him out, which they should have done. I mean, if anybody did something like this, they deserve to be kicked out on the streets.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, families do support their children, so I'm not going to be too angry with the family. But I just hope they understand that, and keep a good eye on him from now on.
Yeah.
It was terrible, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, because it all came into a discussion where he sort of was being honest with me and saying that he nearly got caught by the police of being an online predator, and then he was saying that I couldn't use his computer because there was things on there that he was ashamed of, and he not only was he cheating on me, it was just he was doing all this, and I eventually got away from his family that were controlling me and trying to keep me there, and came back to Essex.
So they falsely imprisoned you as well.
Yeah, wrongly imprisoned me, and I came back to Essex and let Robert know as soon as I possibly could. He had blocked me. He had blocked me and deleted from all my friends and contacts, and
it's not good.
No,
it's not good that somebody would do this. I mean,
no,
I mean, for this guy to do it again after he was on bail just shows he had no sympathy. He had no sympathy whatsoever what he'd done. He had no remorse.
No.
This wasn't just a mistake, because he wouldn't have done it again. He did it again. I mean, it's not a mistake anyway, but he say it is, because he was on bail and still did it again.
Yeah, no.
3 separate children. Well, 2 separate children, 3 separate times.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And he would even, the word he loved to use was the word magic, because if magic got used, you all know what we're getting at. But that was his favorite word. That was his favorite word.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It's but yeah,
we was fun catching him and outsmarting him with all the scenarios we did and that. Yeah.
Well, he believed everything, didn't he? He believed everything we told him. We used to make out we was doing car washes after school for a guy called Peter, and Peter would apparently be in the window, to me, watching me through the window. And he said when Peter came outside, you should try and fall onto him so that you grab a certain area of him by his robe. I was like, oh my God. Or try and pull his robe off him as you fall over. The stuff he was saying. It's the stuff he was saying.
It's
absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. I just can't believe how we can, think all this is normal.
Yeah, nah.
But stopping him was the best thing we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely horrible for a man like this to be out there in the street. And what's worse is he doesn't, you know, he doesn't live so close, but he lives about, I'd say, about a 5-minute walk from a school, which is quite bad. Maybe less than that.
Yeah.
You know, he shouldn't be living in that sort of area after being on the register. They should say, no, go somewhere else where you're not near a school.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But, you know, it really does wake you up to think how many of these people are out there and what they're prepared to do and what length they're prepared to go to.
Yeah.
You know, it's they don't back off easy. A predator is a predator for a reason. They want what they want and they don't stop until they get it. But luckily, in this scenario, we had the police working hard in the end, and Marcus Bassett did his job.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm happy for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we wanted to say, basically, guys. It was only a bit of a short one. Like I said, I haven't done XS UK talks for about almost 2 years. I think June 2022, but I did say I might bring it back, and here it is. Little one. It's only a little one, but better than nothing. So I'm glad you all know, and hope if you're watching this later, you enjoy it and agree with what we said.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
More coming soon, I'm sure.
Should be more.
Yeah.
I'll speak to you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Speak to you later. Bye-bye.